Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're going to talk about some alternatives to the Swatch MoonSwatch. I have 5 watches in my collection here that I think make great alternatives, so I will show those here in a moment. First, let's talk about the specs of the MoonSwatch. I don't actually have a MoonSwatch, but I did see one about 2 weeks ago in person for the first time, and I got to handle it. Really was not impressed with the watch, even for $260. Not really impressed with it. They're selling for anywhere from $500 to $1,000 on eBay currently. So some of these watches that I'll talk about here will be in anywhere from $240 up to about $500. All right, so the MoonSwatch has a bioceramic case, Velcro strap in a plastic crystal. It's not acrylic, it's plastic. It scratches very easily from some videos that I've seen. It has a quartz movement in water resistance to 30 meter, and it weighs very light at 29 grams. And it has a tenth of seconds subdial, 60-minute subdial, running second subdial, and no date, and is Swiss made. Okay, so first alternative here will be the Bulova Lunar Pilot. This guy here, I think this will be the best alternatives based on kind of a Speedmaster look. Also, this is an actual, well, it's a lunar pilot, but a similar watch has been to the moon. This watch is modeled after a Bulova that was on the moon. So this one on Amazon, $482 on bracelet, $355 on a nylon strap. So this is a steel case, not plastic, or sorry, bioceramic like the MoonSwatch. 316L stainless steel case and bracelet, sapphire crystal, not plastic. And this does have a high frequency quartz movement. Let's activate the chronograph here, so you can see we have the tenths of seconds subdial here. The one on the MoonSwatch does not keep spinning like that. It only activates when you stop it. Then it will go to the tenth of second position. So yes, we have the tenths of seconds here. 60-minute chronograph minute hand there, and then running seconds down at the 6 o'clock subdial. So this watch is a bit larger than the MoonSwatch, though. MoonSwatch is 47.3 lug to lug. This one is 53 lug to lug. 45 millimeter diameter versus 42 for the MoonSwatch. 13.5 thick versus 13.25 for the MoonSwatch. They do have the same lug width at 20 millimeter, but this watch is 6-7 times heavier, 169 grams size for my 6.5 inch wrist versus 29 for the MoonSwatch. And this does have 50 meters of water resistance, which matches the Speedmaster. So let me get this on wrist, and then we'll go to the next alternative. So yeah, this watch is too large for my 6.5 inch wrist, but I really like the watch, so I still wear it. I prefer more traditional pushers, but you know, that's fine. It has a unique look to it. This does have a date as well. The MoonSwatch does not have date. I haven't put the correct date on here. Another reason why I like no date watches. Don't have to keep messing with the date. So yeah, there we go. First look. First alternative, good look there at that. So next alternative will be the Seiko speed timer. I just recently added this watch to my collection. This is the SSC 819, $506 on Amazon. 316L stainless steel case and bracelet, and it does have a sapphire crystal. I actually have not sized this yet, but I will get to that very soon. Yeah, solid end links, solid links, milled clasp. does only have 2 micro adjusts. It's kind of a letdown, and this portion is stamped. Anyway, let's activate the chronograph. The pushers are kind of weird. You don't feel like a hard stop. It's kind of mushy. You just push it. So a fairly smooth sweep there. Not quite as smooth as the Speedmaster or the Bulova, but it is not a ticking second hand like on the MoonSwatch. So this watch has the V192 solar chronograph movement, 50mm lug to lug. I'm sorry, 50mm is the male end links here. The lug to lug of the case itself is 45.6. The diameter, nice and small at 39, small for a chronograph. And then the thickness of this watch, looking at 13.4 thick, so there's a little bit thick compared to that diameter. Lug width 20, and that tapers down to 18. We have the tachymeter scale here. And then each of the subdials, I believe, are the solar panels, for lack of a better term. That's where the UV rays go in, and it powers the watch. So up here at 3 o'clock, that's a 24-hour subdial. The 6 o'clock is the 60-minute chronograph, and then the 9 o'clock subdial is your running second hand. So let's stop the chronograph and then reset it. And it does have a pretty nice sweep going back. It doesn't snap right back, but it does move back pretty quickly. And we have a date on here as well, down there at, I guess that's just below 4 o'clock, isn't it? It's just kind of a weird date position. I'm just noticing that now. This is a pretty weird date position. It's not right at 4:30 like the Bulova here. So anyway, very interesting choice for a date window position. Okay, next option, looking at the Tissot PRC200, another Swiss-made watch, just like the MoonSwatch. That's also Swiss-made. Now this watch, $400 on Amazon, but there's all different kinds of variations of the PRC200. I saw one on bracelet with black and silver colors for $350. So just do a Google search for PRC200. You'll find all different kinds of these. But this is the one that I have in hand. This was kindly given to me by Mark, a subscriber of the channel. Really appreciate that. So 316L stainless steel case, silicone strap, and yes, a sapphire crystal. Big improvement over the plastic crystal on the MoonSwatch. Oh, the speed timer, forgot to mention, that is 151 grams, and it is rated to 100 meter of water resistance. Very respectable. So this guy here, PRC200, has the ETA quartz movement. The MoonSwatch also has an ETA quartz movement, but they're not the same movement, because this one, the tenths of a second, spins around there really quickly, and it only has a 30-minute chronograph timer instead of 60 like on the MoonSwatch. And then the bottom subdial is it is a running second counter. But you can see the chronograph second hand is just ticking away instead of a smoother sweep like the Seiko and the Bulova. So lug to lug, 48.8, case diameter 42. It's measured at the bezel. This little outcropping here makes it go out a little bit more, but from the bezel, 42 millimeter. Nice and thin at 12 millimeter thick. See the flat sapphire crystal and the flat case back here. Not much engraving on the back either. 20 millimeter lug width, and the weight of this watch is 90 grams. I'm sure the silicone strap helps that a lot. And 200 meter water resistance, which is kind of unbelievable, seeing as how it has these pushers that aren't screw down. This is a screw down crown though, but if you're 200 meters underwater, you definitely don't want to push these pushers. Yeah, so that tenths of a second subdial there did stop. So let's stop the chronograph and then reset it. And it does have the T on the chronograph hand. It's kind of Tissot's thing, putting a T counterbalance on their second hand. And that does snap back really quickly, actually. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, very cool. That's mechanical like. So we already talked about each of the subdials, and this does have a date as well. They're at the 4.5 position. Let me get this on wrist. You know what? I forgot. I didn't put this one on wrist, did I? Speed timer on wrist. There we go. I think this looks great. Great size for my 6.5-inch wrist. It's a good looking watch. Look forward to spending a little bit of time with it here. I need to decide if this will be a keeper in the collection. So I don't want to go into too much detail on all these watches, but it does have applied indices. So very nice looking watch. Now let's get the Tissot on wrist with the red strap here. So there we go. My 6.5-inch wrist. Probably a little big for my wrist, but I don't mind it, seeing as how it's a chronograph. It's easier to see the subdials. And the subdial here is a little bit unique as well. It's not actually 3, 6, and 9. Alright, let's go into the fourth option here. Strictly based on what I have in my collection. I didn't go searching around too much. But I have a HKED ED 63. You could substitute Seagull 1963 for this option as well. But this is the watch that I have. I had it on a NATO strap for a while, but I put it back on the supplied leather strap. Really enjoy looking at the movement in these. The Seagull ST1901, which is based off of a Swiss movement from the 60s, I believe. I think it was Venus. Anyway, but yeah, mechanical hand winding chronograph. Mechanical sweep to that chronograph second hand, of course. The right subdial is a 30-minute counter for the chronograph, and then the left subdial is your running second hand. Here, let me reset this and you'll see it snap back very quickly. I should get that on slow-mo one of these days. Anyway, this does have a domed acrylic crystal, and I'm going to say this is better quality than what's on the MoonSwatch, just based on how easily those scratch. I have not, I mean, there are some scratches on here, very fine, but I have not scratched it as badly as what I've seen these MoonSwatches get scratched. So yeah, 316L stainless steel case, leather strap, and the domed acrylic crystal. So as I showed you, it has a hand winding mechanical movement, just like the real Speedmaster, not the plastic Speedmaster. So looking at 47mm lug to lug, it does have quite long lugs for the case diameter. I think that's for NATO straps. 38mm case, 14.8mm thick with that domed acrylic crystal, and 17.8mm lug width. It's not 18. I've bought an 18mm metal strap and tried to put it on there, and it does not fit. So 17.8mm lug width there. 56 grams, and it is rated to only 30 meters of water resistance, so hand washing only. Yeah, I really do enjoy this watch. This is actually the first black and gold watch that I have purchased, and this got me really appreciative of the colorway. I never really thought I would like it, but I do. So let's reset that and set this watch down, and we'll go to the fifth and final alternative to the MoonSwatch. It's really an alternative for not a Speedmaster, but an alternative for the Rolex Daytona Cosmograph Panda. It looks very similar to that watch. Oh, you know, I didn't mention the price of the HKED. This watch is currently on sale for $240 from, I think it's HKED.com or HKEDwatches.com, something to that effect. I'll try to leave a link in the description to all of these watches here. Okay, so this is the final option. This is the Alpha Chronograph, $195 on the website, alpha-watch.com. 3/16-ounce stainless steel case and bracelet as well. It is a hollow bracelet, kind of a cheap feeling bracelet, but I'm sure it's modeled after the Rolex Daytona of the, I think, 60s or 70s. I don't know when the Paul Newman was out, somewhere around that time frame. It does have the screw down pushers, and this is a mechanical movement as well. Similar movement to the Seagull. Second hand is not the easiest to see there, but there it goes. So the 3 o'clock subdial is a 30-minute chronograph counter. The 6 o'clock subdial is a 24-hour indicator, which really just slave to this hour hand here. And then a left subdial, the 9 o'clock subdial, is your running second indicator. This does also have a nice domed acrylic crystal, aluminum bezel insert here. So let me stop it and we'll snap it back here. We'll reset it very quickly there. So yeah, a mechanical chronograph movement just like what's in the Speedmaster. These are column wheel though, and not cam lever like the Seamaster. But of course the Seamaster movement will be a lot, have a lot more longevity and a lot higher quality to them. But these are fun watches too for the money. This watch actually has a screw down crown, which is, I don't know, I could do without it. I really don't care for it because you have to unscrew the crown to hand wind it. Now this watch is fully wound, so I'm not going to wind it back up anymore. So the movement in here is the Seagull SG2903. Looking at 48.5 lug to lug on this drilled lug case. Polished side there, brushed top. 40mm diameter here. Actually, it was from the case. The bezel's a little bit wider than the case. 15mm thick, so this is the thickest watch of the bunch, and I'll lay them all out here in a moment. Just realized I didn't put the HKED on wrist. I'll do that as well. Real nice taper on this bracelet, just like Rolex. 20 tapering down to 16. So if it's, I'm sure it'll fit very comfortably on wrist. I've not worn it yet. 126 grams, and again, just 30-meter water resistance with this watch, so hand washing only, which is funny because it has the screw down pushers and the screw down crown. So let's reset this and then screw the pushers back in. On the website they said this has been tested to 30, so it may be able to handle more water resistance, but I really wouldn't chance it. So let me get the HKED on wrist, and then we'll put that Alpha Chronograph on wrist. Really spent the most time with this watch on the NATO strap, but just decided to put it on leather. Haven't really worn it much on leather here. A lot easier to look at the movement with a leather strap versus a NATO strap. So there we go. Really long lugs. So let me know which of these watches is your favorite, which one you would pick. Then here's this guy on wrist. Like I said, I haven't sized it yet or anything. Good looking watch though, for obvious reasons. I think they have, or they had at one time, a version of this watch that looked more like a Speedmaster. Okay, so I'll lay out the options here in order of how I presented them in the video, if I remember correctly. Wish I had a MoonSwatch in hand. I may still buy one if they ever become available online. I was going to buy one. Well, I wasn't going to buy one at the authorized dealer because the closest one to me is 4 hours away each way and an international border crossing, so that was not going to happen. Okay, so here we go. Let me zoom back out a little bit. Bulova Lunar Pilot Seiko Speed Timer SSC 819. This also comes in a Panda colorway similar to this, and some other colorways as well. Also, they offer this watch, similar watch with a mechanical movement. A lot more money than this one though. Tissot RC200, HKED ED 63, and then the Alpha Chronograph. So price for this $482, $506, $400, $240, and $195. I almost kind of did that in price order as well. So let me know what you think. Would you buy the Swatch MoonSwatch for $260? The one with the plastic crystal. The chronograph hands fall off apparently. Not the chronograph hands, the chronograph pushers fall off. And then the crystal scratches very easily. But with all that said, I probably will still buy one or two if they become available online at some point in the future here. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment below. As always, thank you very much for taking the time, and thank you for watching.